What up? This is Rama Screen, and in the anticipation of Dreamcatcher, which arrives in theaters and on demand and on digital March 5, I'm talking with the star of this film, Adrienne Wilkinson. How are you, Adrienne?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I couldn't be better.
Awesome. I gotta say, when I looked you up and found out that you were at one point part of Xena Warrior Princess, I was overjoyed. I was like, I love that show.
Well, let me just say, you're welcome.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I know that, of course, we're here celebrating Dreamcatcher. So tell me, what drew you to Jacob's project? And did you sort of have to do audition for this role?
I was drawn to the project because the character is freaking awesome. That's why I was drawn to it. I really do love Jacob's writing, and particularly with this character. Of course, she was my favorite. I'm sure that they were planning to do auditions for this role, but the truth is, there was some scheduling that was rescheduling done at the last second, and they suddenly needed the role filled immediately. So the casting director knew my work and reached out to me, and they liked what I did. And luckily, I was part of it immediately. So I literally booked the job and started work the next day. So, fast and furious.
Well, congrats. And obviously, this movie has twists and turns, so we're not gonna spill spoilers for the viewers here. But
What? I thought that's what our job was.
exactly right. But prior to Dreamcatcher, were you always a fan of slasher movies? Have you done horrors in the past?
I've only done one horror film. It was an
Mm,
action horror film called Raise,
mm.
where a bunch of women were kidnapped and forced to fight each other to the death. It was really demure and subtle. I That's the only horror movie I've actually done. So I was really excited to dip my toes into a full-on horror movie with Dreamcatcher. Being part of a new genre is really exciting to see how you build the different momentum, the tension, the humor, just all of those pieces you use slightly differently. So that was incredibly fun to be part of. I don't have a lot of horror knowledge, generally speaking, which probably made it also more exciting because I didn't bring any preconceived notions to it. I was just a sponge ready to soak up whatever the experience would be.
That's one the Razor with Zoe Bell, correct?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh
And
my
also, I
god!
mean, I've known Zoe. Zoe and I met on Xena Warrior Princess because she played Xena's stunt double.
Yes.
So yeah, so Zoe and I have worked together. I want to say 6 or 7 times now. We just keep circling each other.
Wow, that makes you even extra awesome now. It's really,
Oh,
I love it. I love it.
thank you. Look how awesome I am, everybody.
So, talk to me about your character, Josephine.
Okay, I'm going to clear up a lot. It's going to be amazing. Ready? Josephine has no friends. So, Josephine has a client who she's just feeding off of like a parasite.
Mm.
She's the agent of DJ Dreamcatcher, who is her star client. She wants him to be as successful as possible. In my mind, it's not because she gives a crap about DJ Dreamcatcher. It's purely because she wants the money and power that having a successful client creates.
Mm.
So she will protect that with anything she's got. So she doesn't give a rip about anybody else. She couldn't care less about them. The way I described Josephine when I read it, I was like, oh, I described Josephine as an axe walking through the office, just cutting the heads off of anybody that does not please her. So Josephine is unconcerned with your problems.
Mm.
She's unconcerned with the problems of the world. She's unconcerned with anything except how to make it from step A to step B. So her job is dealing with problems. So she likes to pay people off. She likes to throw money at things to make it go away. And she doesn't actually care about the deeper meaning or doing the right thing. She just wants to get rid of the problem. So that's kind of how Josephine functions. She's a horrible human being, but she's fun to play.
Wait, does that sound like anybody you know? Did you shadow anybody to prep for this role?
Oh, I feel like there's pieces and bits of lots of people that we all know, both personally and in the media. And, I mean, there's a lot of rich material you can draw from with a character like this.
Now, so the music festival in this film is called Cataclysmic. Confession time. Uh, I've never been to a music festival. I've never been to Coachella, never been to Burning Man. Have you, Adrian, ever gone to one of those? What's that experience like?
I have dipped my toe in a little bit. Um, there's almost no way to categorize it because it's going to be a different experience for everybody.
Mm.
I think what's great is it's like a grown up carnival kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like the focus is on joy and fun and freedom and sexiness. Like it's just everything fun. So it's your inner id getting to come out and play. So it's people in costume, it's people uh celebrating their passions, whether that's the artist that they're seeing or the art that they're exploring or things like that. I mean, there's something really amazing and beautiful about it. Also, of course, any festival, anything like that has a dark underbelly and things that are abused, but nonetheless, in general, I think it's something really soothing to our spirits because all of us want that place to just celebrate who we are and those moments in life where we get to put our real life away for a minute and just play for a week or a weekend or whatever.
So, in your opinion, did Jacob authentically capture the spirit of music festival? Because I noticed there's a lot of clubbing scenes, and I wonder if it ever get exhausting for you guys to shoot those scenes.
Oh, I mean, on one hand, it's always exhausting because filming is such insane hours. It's super crazy how we film. I mean, you can be filming for 18 hours a day sometimes because you just have to get the shot. So, on that hand, it's exhausting. It's also exhausting because, a music festival would normally be like a sexy summer evening and you're in your whatever cute little outfit and you're super excited to be in it, where we shot this in January. so,
Mm.
so that made it a less comfortable experience. But what I will say is that we had an incredible cinematographer and that Jacob has such a beautiful, delicious vision. And the two of them together made something that I think should not have been possible on this budget. They did not have a lot of money to spend on this movie, and they made it edgy and sexy and interesting and vibey and just really full. So the scenes that I have seen, the finished scenes that I've seen from Cataclysm are just whoa, they're so yummy. I just loved, I mean, that's maybe my favorite scene of the whole movie. I just thought it was such eye candy. So that's one of the things I'm the most excited for the audience to see because I think Jacob actually really did capture a moment. And I can't say it's a moment that's necessarily indicative of another music event, but he captured his vision of what Cataclysm was fully. So yeah, it's good.
So, finally, in a few sentences, Adrian, make your final pitch. Tell my fans as to why they need to go watch Dreamcatcher.
Ooh, okay. Dreamcatcher is like a double-edged sword, a knife with two sides. So it is this. On one hand, it's a sexy thriller, popcorn movie, silly fun romp. Just if you're wanting some entertainment, please eat this with a spoon, like with a giant spoon, like a bowl of ice cream. It's so good. It's just yummy, fun playfulness, right? But on the other side, the interesting thing about Dreamcatcher that really surprised me is that Jacob has written these really layered characters. So each of the main characters is dealing with something on their own that is potentially life altering or certainly a very big deal in their life. So whether it's pining for a loved one or whether it's uh, dealing with body issues or whether it's just sort of a quarter life crisis kind of thing, all of the characters show up to this time in their history, to this weekend of Cataclysm. They show up each already dealing with their own issues. So you have two layers going on at once, where you have this deeper exploration of the characters and what they're navigating. And then you also have this freaking fun, sexy weekend that turns less fun. Of
Can I ask just one final question from my personal
course.
thing? Okay.
Yeah.
So, what was the most memorable thing that Lucy Lawless ever said to you, whether it's words of wisdom or just some random stuff?
I'm blushing because I'm trying to figure out which of these things I want to share that are maybe. Look, here's the thing. Lucy is spectacular. I was on that show when I was maybe 21-ish, somewhere around there. And it was my first really big job. And it was at the time the biggest show in the world. It had this
Yeah.
massive audience of like 187 countries. And, it's just one of those shows that's easily translatable. It's hot chicks fighting, it's good versus evil. We're all in for that. So I get there, and I'm from the Midwest, and what I have always believed about the industry is it's talented, amazing people getting together to make some fun collaborative art. We're telling stories that are good for humanity in whatever way, whether it's actually a beneficial story or whether it's something that teaches or whatever. There's all of these pieces.
Hmm.
What you often find on a lot of sets is that you show up and it's to disappointment because
Oh.
people are not as cool as you thought they would be, or not as generous as you had hoped they would be, or people are not loving their art anymore. They're just over it. I showed up on Xena Warrior Princess and it was everything that I hoped that it would be. So it was amazing people doing amazing things, pushing their art as far as they could, and doing it in a loving, collaborative environment. Lucy and Renee, as co leads of the show, set such a perfect tone, which is exactly what I had always believed was possible. So they were this perfect manifestation of what I think the industry is when it's in its best light, in its best self. So everything that Lucy has ever said to me has been, first of all, hilarious. She's got a great sense of humor. But secondly, respectful, because she gets the collaborative part of all of it, and certainly brazen. So she's she's definitely leading edge in that way. And what I love is that she has a voice and is never afraid to use it. So I can't tell you one specific thing, but I will just say whatever any of the fans hoped that that experience really was, this is one of those shows where it actually was that. It was incredibly, unbelievably hard work because of where we were shooting and what we were trying to shoot. But it was a joy every second.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. And for my fans at home, everybody go check out Dreamcatcher, arriving in
Woo!
theaters and on demand and on digital March 5. Adrian, thank you for talking to me and
Oh,
congratulations.
thank you for having me. I had the best time ever. I hope you enjoy the hell out of Dreamcatcher.